Have you ever said anything on impulse that was so stupid and embarrassing that it haunted you for the rest of your life? Because I just woke up and I had a dream last night that reminded me of something stupid I said like 9 years ago. So I used to work 60 miles away from where I live, and I had long commutes home. And I remember one day I was coming home, I was driving up this divided highway that was notorious for having accidents. So I remember I'm driving home and there's like this white Buick that's probably like 100 yards ahead of me. And all of a sudden this red Pontiac just pulls out and like clips part of the Buick. And the front of the Pontiac just explodes into debris and dust and spins out of control. The Buick does a 180 and goes rifling backwards down the highway, and then it comes to a rest against this like curb height concrete median. Pull up to the accident, I get out of the car. All these people are running over to the red Pontiac. Nobody's going to the Buick. So I decide I'm going to run up to the white car, go check on that person. I get up to the car. There's a guy in there, probably like 60 years old, and he's just cussing to himself. He's super pissed. So he starts opening his door, and I'm like, are you all right, man?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm a stupid idiot.
And I'm like, okay, but you're sure you're not hurt?
No, I'm fine.
So I start walking around his driver's side door. Now let me preface this with something. Anytime I've ever witnessed a car accident, I'm somebody who will stop to help. But the way I function is I'm somebody who creates like tons of hypothetical scenarios in my head to try to prepare for any potential scenarios I come across. So I've thought through like 100 different scenarios of potential car accidents I might come across and how I would react to them. And up until this point, I had always done well, but this was the moment that changed that for me. Because when I walked around his driver's side door, he swung around to step out of the car, and I looked down and I realized he was missing a leg, like clearly a pre-amputated leg. But I just wasn't ready for the scenario. So I'm on this scene of like a very highly charged car accident. People's emotions are high. The tension is high. His frustration is palpable. And now I find myself with a curveball I wasn't expecting. So as a means to try to break the tension and maybe de-escalate a little bit, I have a tendency to turn to humor in situations like that. And without even giving it a second thought, I look down at this guy and I go, "Oh shit, did you lose that in the accident?" No, Joe, these are the thoughts that we keep in here. We don't say those out loud. He just stared at me. He didn't laugh. And so it was enough to burn this moment into my mind forever. The crazy thing is, it turned out he wasn't even offended by it. The joke went right over his head, because then he proceeded to tell me about how he actually lost it due to diabetic complications. I mean, it's a lot of shit that I didn't need to know. But hey, you know what? While I'm on this topic, another fun part about this story is I ended up actually driving the guy home. It turns out that he didn't have anyone that could pick him up to take him home. He had a daughter that lived nearby, but she was out of town. And the police already had a million other things to worry about, so I offered to take this guy home, and he accepted. So I remember asking him if there was anything in his car that I needed to get out for him to take with us. He's like, "Oh, there's just a box of books in the back if you wouldn't mind grabbing that." Like, yeah, no problem. So I go around to the back passenger side. I'm able to pry the door open. And when I do that, a prosthetic leg falls out of the car. "Is there anything else that you need?" No, I think I'm good." "Are you sure there's nothing else that you need back here?" No, nothing I can think of." So I grabbed the box of books and then I put the leg on top anyway, because I'm like, I feel like he needs this. I walk back around to the driver's side of the car. I got the leg sitting on top of the boxes, and I say, "Hey, this was back there too. I didn't know if you wanted to grab this as well." He's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that was back there." And I'm like, "How the hell do you forget about that?" So he grabs the leg off the top of the box, and I say, "All right, I'm gonna go grab my car and I'll pull it up." And he goes, "Oh no, that's okay. I'll just walk." So in my head, I'm like, all right, he's gonna pop the leg on and he's gonna walk over to the car. That fucking guy took his leg and just stuffed it under his arm, and he hopped on one leg like 100 feet to my car. It was honestly really impressive. So that was it. Well, then there was the car ride home. It was like 25 minutes to take him to his house, and the entire ride there, he just kept telling me about all these people that he was going to file lawsuits against, and it had nothing to do with the accident. And so yeah, that was an experience. But anyway, I'm still haunted by the thing that I said to him. Even though it didn't bother him, it still bothers me.